fellow Singaporeans, and voters of Ang Mo Kio GRC. How are you tonight? I would urge you all to come more to the front because there are more lights. And tonight, I'm going to talk about some changes. I know changes are very painful. It's not easy. And even the Prime Minister acknowledged that. But what kind of changes are we talking about? Is it changes for the good for you, or changes not for the good of them? I need you all to think about this. I need you to be smart tonight. Once in every 5 years, you have to be smart. Now the thing about bankers, they're not smart as per se. It's just that they get to see more things than ordinary citizens, and they understand how the world connects. I personally met J.B. Jeyaretnam back in 1984 and attended, like you.
Godfather of Jengsan!
Thank you. We know that. And from there, I got to be introduced into his work, and subsequently, I asked myself, it can't be that bad. Now, I waited 30 years or more to understand a little bit better. There has been no change. It's just a little bit of dagger into your flesh, 1 inch at a time, until they get everything out of you. So, dear fellow Singaporeans, tonight, I'm going to say and summarize what has happened over the last few days. Yes, in a while. Over the last few days of our party speeches, we have talked about minimum wage, influx of foreign PMETs and low-cost workers, CPF, HDB, MediShield. My speech tonight centers on one vital key issue of our manifesto. I think a lot has been said about all this, so I will not touch on this again. Tonight, I want to talk about the key issue that will deepen our wage gap even more and will create more adverse income redistribution to all Singaporeans, which I care about. We need to maintain a personal tax regime that favors investment and economic growth. But we cannot get it from the poorest of society. We need to protect the poor in this land. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about this tax called GST. It's coming. Okay, I'll let you know what is the GST. It's a regressive tax. The poorest will actually subsidize the richest, because GST for the rich is inelastic. It's not so responsive compared to the poor people, poorer in the society. They feel more pain paying GST. Am I right to say that, everyone?
Yes! No GST for milk powder!
Yes.
No GST for rice!
So, this regressive tax is very broad-based. It's called a broad-based consumption tax. Who will be hurt by this kind of tax the most? Yes, him. Thank you for being honest. And also, the poor in the society, which is the elderly, they will be very hard hit. Okay? And the poor in society. Of course, there is a GST voucher. But voucher works in a way that it's only one time, but not in the long run. Because in the long run, you are all dead. Lower income individuals pay a larger percentage of their income for this goods and services tax compared to the progressively richer. Now, I know a lot of more well-to-do people, they really care. And I have friends staying around there at Mount Liston, they really care. They don't mind my speech because they know what I'm talking about. They're talking about helping the poor, so they understand. Our wages has not gone up over the last 13 years, a decade or more, hovering about 20 to 40% of inflation. And now this tax is going to come. And those staying in the HDB who can't pay every month is going to be deeply more concerned about this GST tax that is coming. Now we have claims on the online websites that such talk of the government increasing this tax is not going to happen. Well, surely it's not going to happen because it's election year. How can it happen? Ask yourself. Is the government planning to raise the goods and service tax, the regressive tax, to 9 or 10%? That is no-brainer. It's going to come. So I need you all to understand this. Now, the government website also states that there is no basis on this claim that the GST is going to be increased. No claims. And our most favored finance minister, Mr. Tharman, stated that the revenue measures the government had already undertaken will provide sufficiently for the increased spending plan for the rest of this decade. Well, which means until... I know there's a mouthful. This is technical terms that many Singaporeans, not even me sometimes, can understand. He's talking about another thing. He's not talking about specifically about GST. He's talking about, yes, we have the revenue, we have the measure, we are okay. But a lot of people take it that what he says is that we are provided for the next decade, then no need for GST. That's what a lot of common people think. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Singaporeans, there's this word that I picked up during my university days. It's called Google de Gook. It's an Australian term that says double talking. Hogwash. Okay? Gibberish, mumbo jumbo. It's a sentence that is marked by circumstances unrelated to each other. That means GST is unrelated to what revenue they are talking about. So in short, I'm going to tell you that GST is going to be happening. So why GST tax? Because they cannot increase personal income tax. They want the foreigners to come here, the global talent to come here. How can they increase the personal tax? So they are going to increase your GST tax, in short. There's no way they're going to avoid this GST tax. So if you continue to vote this party in, the PAP, you're going to be very sure that it's going to happen. Now, we are no game show host. We are no DJ. We are no collectoral doctor. We are no taxi association leaders. But we are RC managers, businessmen who understand the pain of a small business, social activists who understand what people are doing outside, why they are poor, why they're collecting cardboards as a form of exercise. So we need you to understand that during the National Day rally, to pay for all the healthcare and all the infrastructure initiatives, MediShield, they have to get something back from you. It's going to be through GST. Even the economist from UOB, Mr. Francis Tan, quoted the same things that I just mentioned. Raising income tax is not very possible if Singapore wants to remain relevant for MNCs and high-income global. So people like Bill Gates and Facebook guy Severin, who live among us, they're going to get a lot of tax break. So they're not going to redistribute income back to you. Now, we are going to be poorer in time to come.
We are already poor.
More poorer, sorry. Even more poorer.
Worse. Better reform.
Governments rule longer than PAP. Don't you all understand that? Government and ruling parties come and go in other countries. We are not so unique. The PAP is not so unique that it is the only person that can run the country. There is a difference between civil service and political stability. There are differences. Our civil service is strong. They are going to assist a coalition of opposition to make sure that plans are implemented properly and we have check and balance for each other. So, a very famous economist, John Maynard Keynes, say that if you continue to listen to PAP and say, in the long run, Singapore is very good, where in the short run, you're suffering, then I can tell you, in the long run, we are all dead. I waited 30 years. Believe me, nothing's going to change. Methods will change. The way they do it to get more income from you is going to change. I want you to know that the country should not be run like a corporation where we lost billions and billions of dollars in investment, fair investment. No matter how much they're trying to recoup, it may or may not be too late. The thing is, they've done it wrongly. The people are not shareholders. We are the masters. You are the masters. Please give yourself a good chance for us to fight for you and send us to Parliament. We know that the chances are slim. That's what the press keep telling us, keep telling you. But we need all of you to garner strength and courage to make a change. The waves of change are coming from East Coast, Hougang. Why not Ang Mo Kio? Ask yourself. Turn to your neighbor right now and say, we need change. We at the Reform Party cares and respect you, and we're going to serve you to our utmost ability. So, for a better future tomorrow, today, vote for the Reform Party. My time ends now. I wish to pass the mic to my colleagues now.